Hello and welcome back everybody. It's Complicated Relationships Reddit Stories. Hope you guys are safe and healthy. Now let's see what the story is about today. What would you think you would do if you hear your fiancé on a call telling someone that her ex-boyfriend is the love of her life? Would you confront her immediately? Now let's listen to the story. Also, if you like these type of stories, please give us a thumbs up and do subscribe to the channel.
My fiancé and I got engaged in October last year and have been in a relationship for 5 years now. Everything has been great, and I can honestly say that I've never met anyone who comes close to her. She's been the love of my life for sure. I've known her most of my life. We grew up on the same street just round the corner from each other. Her mom and dad still stay in the same house, and I still stay in the same house I grew up in, which my mom left to me when she passed away in 2014. We still don't officially live together yet, but for all intents and purposes, she lives here. Her parents and her are really close though, and she still has her bedroom there, and will occasionally spend the night there, but she's never away from here. Anyway, this morning, I decided to go take a walk down to the shops to buy some things, and as I was about halfway down, 15-minute walk, I realized I'd forgotten my face mask. Masks are mandatory here in shops since the 10th of July, so I had to walk back and get mine. When I walked in the door to grab the mask from the kitchen table, I heard her speaking to someone loudly on the phone in the living room, and she said, "Yeah, but David will always be the love of my life." David is her ex-boyfriend. I don't know a great deal about him, but I know they were in a relationship for 2 years, and it ended a year before we started dating. He broke up to her. I just grabbed my mask and walked back out, and just as I got to the shops, I felt weird and I had to sit down as my mind was going in 1,000 different directions.
OP eventually got back home and immediately told her that he was feeling sick and sent her back to her parents' house.
I'm now lying in my bed wondering what to do. To be honest, I know she didn't do anything wrong. It's not like she's seeing him or intentionally went out of her way to hurt me, but what's heard can't be unheard. She basically said that the person who she's agreed to marry isn't a patch on an ex she's not been with for 6 years. The fact she said he will always be the love of her life also means that it's a void game. Her heart's already been taken, and there's nothing I could ever do to change that. Also, what would happen if he did come back into her life? You can't turn down the love of your life when they come calling, and I'd be thrown into the bin quicker than yesterday's leftovers. So, what do I do? Tell her I was earwigging on her and heard her say that? Just end the relationship for a completely vague reason like, "Oh, it's not you, it's me," etc.? Swallow my pride and pretend I didn't hear it. Everything has been wonderful, but there's no way on this earth I want to be someone's second choice, especially when her ex is the one on her mind that she obviously would be with if she could. I'm thinking about just saying it's not working between us.
Well, now she's texting OP about coming around in the night, mothering and spoiling him because he's sick. Now, here is the first update.
So, after posting and receiving some advice on Thursday, I was thinking of telling her to come back around Thursday night so we could talk, but settled on Friday morning instead, as I wanted to get my head in a clearer state. She still thought I was ill, so I needed a bit of time to think through what I was going to say. So, she comes around on Friday morning about 8 a.m. with rolls and tuna mayo crunch her mom had made for me, along with grapes, sweets, and juice and stuff. I think she could see right away that something was wrong, as I must have looked stony-faced. Anyway, I said to her that I wasn't really sick, and that yesterday, as I was going to the shop, I forgot my mask and had to come back to retrieve it, and when I got in to get it, I heard her talking in the other room about David. Her face went completely pale, and she started welling up. So I instinctively stopped talking and just stared at her. She then runs into the toilet, locks the door, and starts hysterically crying, and alarm bells are going off all over the place in my head. Her reaction made me think she didn't know what I heard, so she must have said some other things about him as well. I chapped on the door and told her if she has any aspirations of saving this relationship, she had better tell me everything right now. 30 minutes or so go by, and she finally comes out dabbing her face with a tissue and tells me that David got back in touch with her 4 or 5 months ago, and she had been sleeping with him once or twice a week since. I said on my previous post she will occasionally go and stay with her parents. It's usually about once a week, sometimes twice, sometimes none. The thing is, I've just popped around myself dozens of times over the years to speak to her mom or dad, watch TV, or anything at all really, without informing her, and she's always been there, so it's just become routine and I've never thought any more of it. This has obviously been the times that she's gone to meet David.
All he can think of is the snippet of the conversation he heard his fiancé was having with her friend or someone, helping her to choose between David and OP.
When I heard this, I hit the roof. I chased her out, grabbed handfuls of her stuff, put it in bin bags, and threw it out the door into the front garden. She's still standing there, by the way. I then grabbed my garden hose and drenched the bags with it. I'm not proud of that. It was extremely petty, and in hindsight, I should never have done that. She at this point has ran round to her house, and about a minute later, her dad comes around screaming. Her dad and I end up rolling about on the front garden at about 9 a.m. in the morning, no less. Police cars ended up turning up, and half the street was out because of the noise. Afterwards, I blocked her on everything and went to my friend's house, where 3 of us spent the weekend and Monday drinking. When I got back in the house this morning, I noticed she had been back in the house at some point, made the beds, done the washing, and ironed. I have no idea why she had done this. As I'm writing this, she's tried to get in again. I haven't been able to change the locks yet, so I put the door chains on the front and back door, and from upstairs heard the door opening and the chains clanging as she tried to get in. There's also a note that she's put through the door.
OP doesn't even want to read it right now. He's too hurt, hungry, and hungover to even think about what she has to say. Here is the second update.
Since everything that has happened, things have took a turn for the worse. As many of you mentioned I should do, I sent an email to her father explaining my side of the story and apologizing for taking things public and embarrassing his daughter, but as I said previously, I acted instinctively. I didn't apologize for getting physical with him as I was reacting to him coming at me. He basically told me to F off and accused me of hurting his ear for some reason, so that's what was stuck in my teeth. I joke, of course. If you don't laugh, you'll cry. About a week ago, I went outside to find my car keyed right down from the passenger side wing mirror around to the boot. Last Sunday, I was walking down the road to meet a friend at the Arches, a place where we occasionally hang out and walk from an arched bridge, and as I was turning the corner, the local mouth called me a disgrace. I said, "How am I a disgrace?" And she told me that I'm a disgrace for laying my hands on my ex-fiancé. Let's just be clear here, I've never laid a finger on her in my life. Either her father, or someone else has perpetuated this lie, and me throwing her things out and hosing it has obviously given this an authenticity. I haven't spoken to my ex, and she hasn't tried to contact me anymore. I think they're all on the same page now, that I'm the bad guy. I've got the ball rolling in putting my house up for sale. I can't live here anymore. I wish I still had my mum to lean on. She would have made things better.
Well, now let's quickly get into the final update.
Firstly, I want to thank everyone who has reached out. I've tried to reply to everyone, and hopefully this update will help. I am since still in my house, but I'll be renting it out rather than selling. I can't in good conscience give up something that was my mum's and has been in the family for generations. I have since spoken to the father, and I understand why the family circled the wagons, but to throw me under the bus so brutally was genuinely ridiculous. Collateral damage to me and my name is all right, apparently, only known them my entire life. All in all, I feel like I was in the midst of a bad shower that changed course. Still struggling, but feeling a lot better now that I've got an umbrella and a roadmap. Also, I would like to say that I posted on social media giving my side of the story. Whether or not that was right or not is up for debate, I guess, but it was after I had let those close to me discreetly spread it first, so I felt the time was right. Her side are still singing off the same hymn sheet, but hoping neutrals will see things from my side. My close pals have been incredible throughout all of this, but that's why they're close pals, I guess.
Fast forward 1 year, OP has since moved out of his house and he's renting it to a nice older couple. Finally, at the end, this is what he has to say.
I'm doing great. I've even got myself a girlfriend. Wish me luck. What did I learn from this? Life came at me fast, but I stood strong, and for the first time in a long time, I'm looking forward to the future. We only get one life, right? Stop spending it with someone who would treat you like trash.
Now, before we go, let's listen to a comment by the community.
Arcs ISO says, "Don't let your reputation be ruined because of something your ex did. Yes, you did not handle the situation perfectly, but I do not know how I would have either. I think it is best if you don't turtle up and let people know what really happened. She slept with David multiple times, you chased her out, and her dad came to wrestle with you. Anyone who still sides with your ex is not good for you anyway. I would also get a restraining order against her as well as get all of her stuff out of your house.
Thank you all for listening. Please like, comment and share the video if you enjoyed it. Also, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so you will be notified when we upload the next video. Take care.